If it wasn't bad enough that we have all these Democrats trying to shit all over America, now we have Olympians doing it too.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Oh my God, what a soy boy loser. Listen, in the modified words of Ann Coulter, shut up and ski. You leave the political commentary to me and just shut up and ski. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Who watched the Super Bowl? Are we supposed to call it the big game? Is that like a rumor, Steven, that like you're not allowed? Am I allowed to say Super Bowl?
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to say Super Bowl.
Who watched the big game? Wink, wink. No, I still was talking to you, Steven.
Yes.
Who watched the big game?
Big game.
Anyway, was it the most boring Super Bowl ever, Steven?
No, I enjoyed it. It wasn't the most boring ever, but it was not a great game.
It's pretty boring. It was pretty boring. What the most riveting part of it was all of the dysfunction over the halftime show. And again, I say riveting, not like the halftime show was good. I didn't watch it. I saw some snippets afterward. But I mean the dysfunction surrounding it, okay? Because the left is like completely gaslighting as usual, as they do. Talking about how Bad Bunny was, it was the best halftime show ever. I'm like, you don't even know what he sang? You don't even know what the words were. I don't know how you could, it was so patriotic. It made me feel so proud of my country. You don't even know what he was singing. But okay, sure, yes, it was the greatest success ever. And Turning Point's alternative halftime show was so bad. Oh, no one watched it, actually. It was a massive success for our movement. Very proud of my friends over at Turning Point. I'm sure you saw the headlines. They were like, because guess what, guys? I saw personally with my own eyeballs over 5 million people just watching it at one point on YouTube alone. And I think it broke the system for a little bit because it took a while to actually catch up, the number to catch up, to reflect. But it was there and it got 10 million concurrent views across social platforms. By the way, that's not even counting the broadcast channels, which will get numbers back from them eventually. But the actual TV broadcast channels, that number is not reflected in there. The YouTube views are up to 20 million now. So obviously instant success. I would love to have a video that I post less than 24 hours later be 20 million views. That is a huge success, be that as it may. The left is like, actually, let me tell you why they totally failed. Nobody wants to be proud of this country. Nobody cares about God and family and country. Actually, there are a lot more of us than you think. Now, we also had we had Kid Rock, of course, who was the headliner of the show. And it was actually... I was in tears watching him. He wrote a song about Jesus and giving your life to God, actually. And it was amazing. I wish I could play it for you without getting a copyright strike. But it's felt like a subtle homage to Charlie. Just really, really great stuff. So look at him. And I mean, I encourage all of you guys to go over to the Turning Point YouTube channel. Again, I would play it for you right here, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. Go over to Turning Point's YouTube channel and just go listen to him sing that song. You can download it. I believe it's available for download now. It's a new song. But listen to him perform it live and hear the conviction in his voice. It was just really, really beautiful to see. And it just made me think of how many people have rededicated themselves to Jesus Christ after what happened to Charlie, because as we all know, what Satan intends for evil, the Lord will use for good. It's so incredible to see. I'm not the only one who felt that way. Apparently, Let me give you some of the reaction. I watched the Turning Point USA halftime show. It was honestly beautiful. No screaming, no division, no tearing people down. Just music, reflection, and a reminder that redemption is real. People can hate all they want, but Kid Rock literally wrote and performed a verse about Jesus. God restores broken people. That's kind of the whole point of the gospel. I'll choose grace, growth, and unity over outrage every single time. So let me give you some reaction to just saying, yeah, here. Like, she just said, like, hey, this was really beautiful. It was beautiful music. Yay, redemption. And like, oh, the whole point of the show is to be divisive. God, you people are stupid as Like, there's some anger issues going on, okay? Major rage issues. They are filled with rage, as our good friend Hari would say. It's really insane how angry, how vicious these people are. They're rabid. Of course it wasn't meant to be divisive. Of course it wasn't meant to be divisive. Of course it was to give an alternative to the people who are tired of the division. By the way, you'll notice the same people who are like, oh, that's so divisive. Why would they need to have an alternative one? Do they not like brown people? No, recognize they're calling that show divisive. The same people who think it's totally fine to sing a black national anthem at the NFL. Like they're still doing that. I regret to inform you that is still happening in the NFL in the year of our Lord 2026. The Black National Anthem, what, by the way, sung by Coco Jones. Steven, any?
I love Coco Jones.
Really? Big Coco
I love her
Jones
whole
fan?
catalog.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just finding this out for the first time.
Yeah.
My husband.
They're all good. So good.
Big Coco Jones fan.
Don't ask me to ask them because I couldn't pick.
Yeah, give me like your favorite song of Coco Jones.
The Black National Anthem.
I walked into that one. So it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you guys really hate division. Really hate division. What says unity more than needing an entire different national anthem for a different race? I can't think of anything more divisive than that. Like, the national anthem is already for everyone. You don't need another one. It's caked into it, and they still need another one. So, you know, they've been trying to, God, Steven and I were talking last night about how the NFL is just almost completely unwatchable. Like, it's just almost completely unwatchable. The way that they think that they're going to end racism by putting the words end racism on the helmets or like in the end zones. And then they're like, we did it. We did it, everyone. Pack it up. We ended racism because we put these words on our helmets and now racism is cured. It's just getting ugh. Like, I don't like it to be on in my house most of the time. I don't like I hate that it is a tradition to watch the NFL. Love college. But the NFL has just gotten so gross in your face. We hate our consumer. Like, we hate the people who show up and watch us every single week, who buy our merch. We actually hate them. And because we hate them so much, we want to give them a halftime show that caters to a completely different area of the world. Like, I cannot think of a halftime show, I'm about to get into it, that would spit in your face more than this one. So I want to talk about it. Let's throw up this headline. Bad Bunny delivers a love letter to Puerto Rico at Super Bowl halftime. Oh, that's so sweet. Now, before any of you are in my mentions about how Puerto Rico is actually United States territory and therefore he's not giving any sort of American hate, what I would tell you is, I wish we had the video of it. Maybe we can put it up here, of Bad Bunny and like the montage of all of these different flags that they're waving. That's like all of these other Latin American countries. And I'm like, why are we doing this? All of these other countries now. So now the NFL is supposed to represent all of these other countries. Steven, why?
I don't know. The one thing on the Puerto Rico thing that I just can't get over is, you remember, like, he was like at one point said he wasn't going to perform in the U.S. because he was worried like that ICE was going to come get him.
Yeah, that was just bullshit.
I know, but it's like he's like He's from Puerto Rico.
No. It was because so ICE could come get his fans.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Which, like, if all of his fans are illegal, I don't think he needs to be performing at the halftime show. But one of the things that you had told me was that, like, Roger Goodell, he's got all his consumers in America. And so now he's going to just lean into this, like, we just love all of these Latin American countries.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I compared it to the Rhino GOP that is just like, they just don't care because they know that you're going to come back and watch. And like, so it's just like, I'm going to go do this other thing and we're going to make it global and, you know, whatever.
Right. Which is just a slap in the face to all of the Americans who have, like, this is their tradition. And now they don't appreciate you at all. I just like for you to know. Now, in this love letter to Puerto Rico, Bad Bunny, you tell me if this is like a good representation of Puerto Rico. He was dancing in front of a bodega, which highlighted how, like, they need SNAP and EBT. SNAP and EBT is accepted there. Okay. Great, we know. Also, he had this moment where they were dancing on the power lines. Like, maybe that's why they're going out. Because we had our friend Gary who came on here and talked about how bad the electrical power grid is in Puerto Rico. It's actually a terrible issue in Puerto Rico. And I agree with him that should not be happening in United States territory. But I think we solved the problem.
You shouldn't dance on that.
You shouldn't twerk on power lines.
That's a bad idea.
First of all, that's very dangerous. Second of all, your power could go out. I think we just solved it. But like,
maybe actually we should do it. Maybe that'll solve a lot of these problems.
But I don't like, great. You're dancing on your shitty power grid. Like, I don't understand how this is at all a good representation of Puerto Rico. You got your shitty bodega and you got your shitty power grids and you're like, yay, Puerto Rico. Now, they also had a moment where Bad Bunny gave a boy a Grammy. And, okay, so now this was really funny. This is how retarded the libs are. Well, my friend Alex Stein coined it libtarded. This is how libtarded they are. Liberals were like, oh my God, remember that 5-year-old boy who, of course, I would say had to be rescued by ICE because his dad just ditched him when ICE showed up. His dad was like, every man for himself, go. And he just left him. He abandoned his own son. And the libs were like, oh my God, ICE is arresting a 5-year-old. His name was Liam Ramos. And the libtards were like, oh my gosh, here, Ed Krasenstein, libtard number 1. He's, oh my God, this little boy was Liam Ramos. Amazing, because all brown people look the same. Morgan Freeman, OMG, the little boy who Bad Bunny handed his Grammy to at the Super Bowl was Liam Ramos. They're both brown skin. They're both brown boys. They all look the same. Kathy Griffin, did he just give his Grammy to little Liam Ramos, who was taken up by ICE, or am I making that up? No, you're making that up, you retard. You are making that up. Actually, it was just a kid. His name is Lincoln Fox, actually. He's just a child actor, and he was meant to represent Bad Bunny as a young boy. But
Sarah, they're all, just brown people to them. So.
That's what I'm saying. There's like, oh, look, brown little boy must be Liam Ramos. Am I the only one who recognizes the inherent racism in that mistake? Like, they all look alike. How are we supposed to be able to tell the difference? It's a 5-year-old. He looked little. It must be Liam Ramos. Like, what? By the way, after the performance finished, there was an epic ad for ICE. Like, it was a really, really good ad to join ICE. So I hope they get some recruitment from that. Now, I want to read you President Trump's review on the Super Bowl halftime show. He said, the Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever. It makes no sense, is an affront to the greatness of America, and doesn't represent our standards of success, creativity, or excellence. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, and the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the USA and all over the world. And it was, by the way, there were men gyrating on top of each other. I'll spare your eyeballs and don't worry, you didn't miss much. But he talks about how it will get great reviews from the fake news media. It did, because they haven't got a clue what's going on in the real world. And by the way, the NFL should immediately replace its ridiculous kickoff rule. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. Now, this is actually a passion of DJT, most people may not be aware of. Like he posts about the NFL kickoff rule all the time. And I would like, Steven, if you could just explain what this new kickoff rule is. And perhaps, I don't know if you know why Donald Trump hates it so much.
I certainly don't know why Trump hates it so much. I mean, he does hate it. Like it is a passion of his. He absolutely hates it. I mean, they took it from the USFL, and I don't know how in depth you want me to get on this, but
I don't want you to get in depth.
That's where they took it from, because remember how they used to do it in traditional kickoff, but then they were just kicking out of the end zone, so there were no kickoffs because they are concerned about player safety.
Oh, gosh.
So this one, they kick it off. They can't run up and hit each other as hard. So they start like on the 30. They can't run until the ball passes them. But it's allowed for more people to actually like return kickoffs. It is a dumb rule how they do it. It's just, why not just do a regular kickoff, but just either one, like you're paying them a lot of money, so just deal with it, or has some of the crazy rules on it. So he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Honestly, he is a man of principle, and he's like, listen, this doesn't make sense. Just let him play. All right. We already have to deal with the giant helmet issue. It's like the helmet on top of the helmet where they look like Toadstool from Mario Kart.
It's like a short bus type,
It
looks so ridiculous. Trump, we need his help on that one too. Let's get on that one. That one's worse than they look ridiculous.
Please give us some posts about this ridiculous. And I get it. They don't want to get CTE. Like, I get it. You don't want brain damage, but like, is there a helmet that we can get you that you can protect yourself from brain damage and not look stupid? That would be, I don't know. I would like that. Anyway, I feel like we could end this Super Bowl discussion with a video. Let me play you a clip from, he's got to be like one of the greatest of all time, Representative Tim Burchett, who has been on the show before. I mean, he's just delightful. He's like one of the most charming individuals I have ever come across. And he was asked by TMZ about Bad Bunny. And this man is, I don't know if he realizes how funny he is or if he just has this stream of consciousness that just is funny, but he's just a hoot. Watch.
Dude, I wouldn't know if Bad Bunny walked up here and asked me for if he could borrow my cell phone. I really don't know who he is. I used to have a Bad Bunny. I had this Flemish giant rabbit. His name was Flop. He had one ear that flopped over.
Oh, nice.
And I always remembered, and somebody had another Flemish giant and they wanted to breed it. And I said, well, let's go easy on that. So they bring the dadgum thing over. It was Christmas Day. I'll never forget this. And Flop and this other his name was Caramel. I say caramel to aggravates my wife and daughter, so I keep saying caramel. And so Caramel, we put it in the cage beside it, and they're getting to know each other. Put them together. It's true what they say about rabbits, dude.
Oh.
Yeah. And my nephew was like, Uncle Tim, what's Flop doing to Caramel? And I go back in the house, dude. It's not my job to give the sex talk here.
Oh my God.
And then about a week later, Flop died of a heart attack. So what do you know? I guess he died doing what he loved.
It's just so funny. Oh man, we need to get him back on the show soon. He is just quite a character. All right, make sure that you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Smash the like button and comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us, which is actually part of the reason why we created the second YouTube channel, which you need to go over and subscribe to at Sara Gonzales TX. Telling you, our experiment. I'm telling you we're on to something. So make sure that you go over and subscribe. Sara Gonzales TX. Thank you to our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. I love the folks over at Patriot Mobile. They're some of my very dear friends, the CEO and founders. They really are some of the greatest patriots that I have ever met in my life. And what you may not realize is Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless provider. They are an activist organization funded by selling top-tier cell phone service. They have been out on the front lines defending our freedoms forever. And it's really that simple. They're going to give you prioritized premium service on all 3 major U.S. networks. So you're going to get the same or even better coverage that you already were getting. But you know that your money is going to a company that stands with you. stands with you, not against you, like all of the other big mobile companies. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're going to help grow a movement that fuels the Christian conservative cause. Every bill you pay helps advance the values of faith, family, and freedom. You can switch. It's very easy to switch. It's 2026, guys. You can activate in minutes. You can keep your number, or you can get a new one. You can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. But just go over there. Go to their website. I bet odds are they're going to save you money as well. Go to patriotmobile.com/Sara and use promo code Sara for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/Sara, promo code Sara. You know, speaking of football and sports and how everything has to be about politics, it was the only thing you could turn to, one of the only things you could turn to just get away from all of like the politics and the news and what was going on was just sports. Just shut up and play. I thought that was a very poignant thing that Ann Coulter said. So we've seen it in football, but it's taking over the Olympics too. I regret to inform you. Yes, wouldn't you know, you have all of these people, all of these Americans over there in Milan to represent our country on a world stage, and they take that opportunity to just trash their own country in press conferences as if that makes them morally superior. Oh, I'm so morally superior, like totally ungrateful to the country that has provided them the resources to get to where they are. The Olympics, like that's a big deal. But no, I'm going to take the opportunity. I don't know why they have an English accent, but I feel like internally they have an English accent because they think that they're fancy. Skier Hunter Hess. Well, he was asked how he feels about representing America right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it by telling you the answer is pretty gay.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Like, what a loser. What an absolute loser. If you don't want to be there, don't. You don't have to represent our country. Like, I don't understand why you would be there representing our country if you're not proud to represent our country. It seems very, very obvious. President Trump responded to this as well. U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess, a real loser, says he doesn't represent his country in the current Winter Olympics. If that's the case, he shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. Very hard to root for someone like this. Make America great again. It is like, I love my country. Why are we sending America haters to represent our country? I don't, and by the way, I would love to hear from Hunter, which country is better? Knock, knock. Which could you, follow-up question, could you please explain to me which country is better?
I've heard Somalia is gold. Maybe you could try there.
Ship your ass to Somalia, okay?
Probably not great skiing, but
yeah. No, he'll have to go back somewhere else for the skiing. But listen, you tell me, where would you like to go? You want to go to Canada? We'll make it happen. You want to go to, I don't know, any of these Latin American countries that all of these other illegals are from? We can make it happen. I will personally fund your one-way ticket to a different country if you can just tell me which country is better than the one that gave you this opportunity. But it wasn't just him. I regret to inform you, figure skater by the name of Amber Glenn, I've never heard of these people, also chose to weigh in.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now, especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before. And because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times. I know that a lot of people say, you're just an athlete, like
Yes.
stick to your job,
Yes.
shut up about politics. But
No, just shut the
politics
up
is all.
entirely.
It
Actually.
is something that I will not just be quiet about, because it is something that affects us in our everyday lives.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Chris just got into my ear and said that she's from Plano.
Shut up.
That's exactly what I said to him.
Oh my God. Oh, no way. Oh, okay. That's where I'm from. That's my hood. So I don't know what community do you claim to speak for? The entire Olympic community, the LGBT community, the Plano community, the entire country. Like, I don't understand who you think you're speaking for. But homegirl with the blonde hair and lily white skin, I think you're doing just fine here in this country. Like, I think this country has treated you quite well. I don't think that you need, like, someone, golly, you hear this woman yammer on, and I say this as someone who has an hour-long show. How long was that clip? It just felt like forever. That was only a minute? Steven, was that only a minute?
1 minute.
Oh my God, it felt like 5.
Actually, I just like to speak for my community, and there's a lot of difficult things going on right now. It's really hard with this administration.
Like, shut up. Plano doesn't claim you. We don't claim you, Amber. There's more. Great. There's more. Freestyle skier Chris Lillis.
I feel heartbroken about what's happened in the United States when, I'm pretty sure you're referencing ICE and some of the protests and things like that. I think that as a country, we need to focus on respecting everybody's rights and making sure that we're treating our citizens as well as anybody with love and respect.
Yes, we are.
And I hope that when people look at athletes compete in the Olympics, they realize that that's the America that we're trying to represent.
No, sir, quite literally, all of the citizens are being treated with love and respect. You absolute dipshit. ICE is not going after, it's the non-citizens, it's the illegal immigrants, the illegal aliens that ICE is going after. See, this is why I'm saying you are getting paid to ski, not think, buddy. Okay? By the way, is it a requirement that, you can only be gay to go to the... I don't understand. All of these people...
They are figure skaters. They're skaters, so.
Great point. That's a great point. Well, skiers too, I guess. Is that a big gay thing? Is that a big gay hobby? We have a bunch of gay people skiing.
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
You mean to tell me you're not an expert on the statistics of gay skiers?
I'm not, and I'm not an expert at anything that has to do with cold, so I'm
fired. Fired. You're fired, Steven. Not an expert.
Fired for what?
Not an expert, because I needed your expertise, your expert knowledge on the gay community and the statistics I need a Venn diagram of the gay community and the skiing community.
It's probably pretty big, I'm going to guess. Is that what it's the circles align?
I just want to know who this Amber chick thinks that she represents with the community and the community and the community, the community and the community. I would love to know. By the way, there's golly, they keep stacking this with more. I keep going, is that it? Is that it? No, actually, there's more. Skier Michaela Schifrin, she showed the mental gymnastics that she's using to justify being there, actually.
I think there's a lot of hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence. It can be tough to reconcile that when you're also competing for medals in an Olympic event. What? Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where we can all flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And for me, as this relates to the Olympics, I'm really hoping to show up and represent my own values of inclusivity, values of diversity and kindness and sharing.
Girl.
Tenacity, work ethic.
Why is it always the white women Why is it always the white women who are like, I'm here to represent diversity and inclusion along with all of my other white friends? We are the ones who know about diversity and inclusion. I'm just here to represent diversity. Again, how? How? You could, if you really wanted to represent diversity and inclusion, you could have allowed one of your minority counterparts to take your place. Like, why not do that? Why not give your spot? That would be diversity and inclusion. That would be you living out the values that you claim to hold. Just give it to a black girl. And then she can go out there and talk about how she knows about diversity and inclusion and all that. Like, you're quite literally doing the opposite of diversity and inclusion by taking a spot that could have gone to someone who has a different color of skin. So I'm going to call bullshit on that. Whatever your name is. What's her name? Michaela Schifrin. Michaela Schifrin. By the way, just want to remind you guys, throwback to Tokyo Olympics. Don't be like those athletes. Be like Tamra Stock at the Tokyo Olympics.
How does it feel to represent your country like this?
It feels amazing. I love representing the U.S. I freaking love living there. I love it. And I'm so happy I get to represent USA.
That's supposed to be the point, guys. You go to represent your country. You're supposed to kind of love it. If that's not part of the deal, if you can't do that on your end, maybe the Olympics are not for you. But please, for the love of all that is holy, just shut up and ski. I feel dumber for having listened to all of that. All right, make sure that if you are not yet a subscriber to Blaze TV, you can go to blazetv.com/Sara. Use a promo code Sara for $20 off. That is blazetv.com/Sara. What's been beautiful about the last several years with regard to the Democrats, and I know you're listening to this and you're like, absolutely nothing, Sara. It's not beautiful at all. Nothing coming from them is beautiful. I agree with you in sentiment, but just hear me out. The beautiful part of it is that they aren't trying to hide their racist agendas anymore. They're just saying everything out in the open. They've just been emboldened to just be blatantly publicly racist. And then that's where you know their true colors. You know who you're dealing with, and they can't try to hide it anymore. Now, I want to give the example of Texas Democratic state representative, and he is the leader of the Democrat caucus in Texas. He's the Democrat chair, Representative Gene Wu, who, I don't know, I'm calling him a CCP spy, CCP apologist. I don't know, but I'm just saying. A guy from China probably shouldn't bring him into this country in the state of Texas and give him any sort of leadership position. But he is a perfect example of this because he's going viral for all the wrong reasons. He was giving an interview and he was like, actually, maybe all of us minorities should just take over the country. Watch.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a little insurrection-y. That sounds like a little inflammatory insurrection-y. He's calling on all of the minorities, all of the non-whites to take over the country. By what means, Gene? By the way, you don't frighten me, but that's pretty serious rhetoric to be calling for. Did you guys notice, did you hear, Stephen, how when he said Latino, he tried to take on the Latino tone?
Yeah, it's very Beto.
It was. Actually, can you play that one more time?
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities.
Okay, that's good. The day the Latino coming from Gene Wu. Okay, buddy, that's not how you talk. Now, I'll show you what Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said. Gene Wu is a radical racist who hates millions of Texans just because they're white. This is who the modern Democrat Party is, which is true. By the way, my friend Aaron Wrights said that he would call for, he's running for attorney general. He would call for Gene Wu to be denaturalized and deported because he clearly, I love this argument, he clearly lied in his application If he has this sort of anti-American rhetoric, he clearly lied on his application when he said that he didn't, when he said that he would be loyal to this country. Now, unfortunately, it's not just the people who come here and are naturalized citizens. It's also the citizens of this country that legally, I don't think there's any way to kick them out. I wish there was, but there's not. It's also Jasmine Crockett, who I think she's trying to like get ahead of her loss in the Senate by saying that if people don't vote for her, they are, you're going to be shocked to hear this, both racist and sexist somehow.
You know, there are those that have their own motivations for critiquing. And, you know, I think that the people
Is it just racism and sexism? Like, what do you think it is?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think it depends on who it's coming from. But I've been a black woman my whole life. So this idea that I'm going to go and be like, oh, well, they're being racist or misogynistic towards me. Like, you think I didn't know I was a black woman when I woke up and decided that I was going to run for the United States Senate? Mm-hmm. You think I didn't factor in and make sure that we had enough room to account for that? We did.
I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty, like, I am a little bit black-pilled. I feel like every clip that I've played this show just makes me dumber somehow. It's difficult to follow the logic there. I'm not going to try too hard or else I might get a headache. But you've got to be racist or sexist to not vote for Jasmine Crockett. I mean, look at all that she's accomplished. She is a strong, independent black woman, and she don't take no shit from no one. Like, sorry, it's just that it's not 2020 anymore, and people are not buying that. People are not buying this anymore. They're not, like, white people in this country are tired of hearing that they're racist because they have brains. They're tired of hearing that they're racist if they don't vote for a fake ghetto hood rat. They're just, and you know what? The Latinos are too. Like, I saw a poll that showed that the greatest amount of votes is going in the Democrat Party. The greatest amount of black votes are going to Jasmine Crockett. Like, she's overwhelmingly winning the black vote. So we do need to check on the black community. Don't like that. Okay. By the way, on the topic of Gene Wu and some more things, I've got another interview. I've got an interview coming up with a guest you're not going to want to miss. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait to talk to him. So we'll be right back with him. You know, people like CCP apologist Gene Wu and Jasmine Crockett, they're just so quick to paint people as racist. If they don't belong to the Democrat Party, if they don't vote for these people, you must be racist, because they see the changes happening in their communities. You see a change happening in your community, you're a racist. People coming in, completely taking over, you point it out, you're a racist. One thing I'm finding during my H-1B investigation is that it's not just this normal organic form of immigration. People are coming in, they're scamming the system, they're finding loopholes to truck in hundreds of their friends and completely take over areas. I see it in my community. I know many of you see it out there too. They're going to call you xenophobic for calling it out, but it's there and we're not going to be bullied into not talking about it. Now, thankfully, my next guest is not afraid to call this out where it's happening as well. I want to welcome to the show my congressman and friend, Representative Brandon Gill of Texas. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you are out there on the front lines fighting this takeover on a number of fronts in the Sharia-Free Caucus. I know you guys had a press conference last week. And also, we talked to you last time you had introduced the bill to put a pause on migration from Somalia. So I want to hear your thoughts, because, I mean, people think, oh, the Somalia problem is only in Minnesota, but it's really not. It's pretty widespread at this point, isn't it?
Well, it's a national problem because immigration is a national issue. And one of the things that we've highlighted, and we look to Minnesota because that's where you see a large number of Somali immigrants coming into the United States and settling down and taking, really taking over entire communities in areas that traditionally were sort of middle American towns. But what we found is a few things. One of them is that many of these people are not learning, not assimilating. They're not learning English. They're not adopting our culture. Only about half of Somali immigrants in Minnesota, even after being in the U.S. for 10 years or longer, don't speak English very well. I mean, that's a serious problem for national cohesion and unity and the ability to really have a coherent culture. But secondly, you're seeing, particularly amongst Somali immigrants in Minnesota, an enormous amount of welfare usage. Even after being in the United States for 10 years or longer, again, So after they've come to the United States, presumably would have sort of gotten up on their feet. 78% of Somali immigrants are on welfare. I think that's a core problem that violates basic principles of immigration that we've had in the United States for a long time, and we ought to be honest about that and be sincere and look out for the American people. And that's all that I'm saying we should be doing.
Yeah, I find it interesting because I know that your detractors on the left they think that they've got you when they say, "Oh, but you married the daughter of an immigrant from India. How could you be so hypocritical?" And it's like, guys, Dinesh D'Souza is like as American as you could get. He loves this country. He came here. He assimilated. He speaks perfect English. Do you guys not see the difference in these people who are coming here? And as you point out, they're not learning the language. They don't care to. I am so excited to share with you, Brandon, my latest expose on all this H-1B fraud that's happening. Not a lick of English. And I'm like, you're telling me this is some sort of tech mogul and they can't even speak a lick of English and somehow they're importing all of these H-1Bs? Like, it's obvious to anyone with working eyeballs that there is systemic fraud happening with regard to immigration.
Yes, and it goes back to the core principle of the only purpose of our immigration system is to benefit the American people. And you're right, I have family members who immigrated into the United States from India, just like Dinesh did. I have in-laws who came in from other parts of the world, and they assimilated and they adopted our culture, and they adopted American culture and speak English very well, of course. And I think that that's great. That's exactly what we want in the United States. But what we don't want is mass migration from unassimilable cultures that are not even trying to assimilate into the United States. All that does is balkanize our country. And that creates real problems, not just with immigration, not just with welfare fraud, but also just with basic cultural cohesion. It's not 1978 anymore, whenever Dinesh came into the United States. And I think we ought to recognize that. We have the highest foreign-born population in America was recorded just in the past 2 years, ever recorded. What we need to do is allow our country to cohere again, to assimilate, to become one people. And that's all we're looking at. And, remember that immigration policy is a core part of having a sovereign country. The ability to determine who can come into our country, who can take part in our political system, who can vote in our elections, who can be part of the American people, who can join us. And we ought to exercise that right to determine who comes into our country for the benefit of our people. And I don't think that mass Somali immigration into America benefits our people. And for that reason alone, I think we ought to take a look at it. And in my view, and I issued a bill just last week, I think that we ought to ban Somali immigration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. So it's the Somalian fraud, the Somalian drain on our economy that is the problem. Another problem that I know that you're on top of is the Islamic takeover of, this entire country, but really our state, Texas. What can be done about that? I know all of the grassroots is asking the same question. What can we do about this takeover? What can we do about these people who are coming in who literally want to disrupt our entire way of living, our entire constitution? Because remember, that's in their holy books. That's it. That's not from me. That's not from Sara Gonzales. That's from their holy books that they want to come in and implement an Islamic form of governance. What can we do about all of that?
Well, this once again is an immigration issue. I mean, there were virtually zero Muslims in the United States in 1900. As I pointed out in the past, virtually there were no Islamic extremists who came to the United States on the Mayflower. I mean, this is something that was imported into the United States via our immigration policy, really in the past several decades. And you see the consequences of this in Europe, which is, I think, a few decades ahead of us here, where you have parts of Paris and parts of London that have become no-go zones for Parisians and Londoners, where you have autonomous governments being set up. And that's something that we're dealing with in Dallas now with and in Texas with Sharia courts, with mosques popping up all over the state. I mean, this is really, really, truly a cultural transformation in the United States. And the results have been devastating in Europe. And we've got to decide, do we want that to happen in the United States or not? And I think the vast majority of Americans say no. We are a country that has, based upon Christian principles historically, And we want to preserve that. We want to preserve the cultural foundation of the United States that's made this country so great. And mass migration, particularly from the Islamic world, undermines that. And we've got to be realistic about it and not be scared whenever somebody calls you racist. This is not a racial issue. This is an issue of cultural compatibility. We're not saying that we dislike anybody anywhere across the globe. But what we are saying is that we love our people. We love the American people. And it's our job, especially as elected officials, to stand up for our people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm just like, I don't care what color your skin is. If you come here and your purpose is to disrupt our way of life and our founding principles, you don't belong here. Plain and simple. It's nothing personal. You just don't belong here. I want to get your take really quickly before I let you go. I just played Representative Jean Wu, who is calling for minorities to, rise up and take back all your power from these evil white people or whatever. I'm just curious, what is your response?
I mean, I saw that video and I could not make a more eloquent case for immigration restriction than Jean Wu did himself. Saying that we are going to take over the country is exactly what you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
It's people coming into the United States, immigrating here and saying, we want to fundamentally, culturally, and economically transform America. And that's what the American people are concerned about. I'm glad that he's at least straightforward about what his goals are so that we can see that. But I'd like to see more people getting as outraged about that as they are about any other, random scandal or fake scandal where they attack Republicans for. Again, this is not a racial issue. Mm-hmm. This is an issue of cultural compatibility, assimilation, and preserving America. And that's not what the left wants for this country. It's not what they've done to Europe, and we don't want to allow them to transform America.
You know what? I said that was my last question, but as we're talking, I have one more for you, Brandon, and then I'll let you go. I promise. Moving into the midterms, you've got obviously, to me, I look around me. This is like the biggest issue, in my opinion, moving into the midterms. Is this immigration issue? Is the fight over ICE in the streets of Minnesota, where who has the right? Does the federal government have the right to go in there? Of course, but who's going to win that battle? What are you thinking moving into the midterms? How should Republicans be strategizing and looking at this to make sure that we don't lose the power over there in D.C.?
Yeah, well, I think that the worst thing Republicans could do is back down on the president's immigration agenda.
Yes.
That was what we were elected for. That was the single biggest issue of the past election cycle. That was the mandate that we were given, to secure the border and to deport illegal aliens. And that's what the president's been doing, and he's been doing it effectively. So I think we ought to lean into that, and we ought to show the American people and tell them we're fighting for you, and we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Your lips to God's ears. I am like bracing myself. We've got to make sure that we retain power because, boy, if they get in there, we're going to hear about impeachment and all sorts of nonsense that we don't have time to deal with. So I appreciate you so much and all of your great work over there in D.C., Representative Brandon Gill, the best there is and happens to be my congressman. Thank you, sir.
Sarah, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always nice when you can claim your own representatives. Like John Cornyn, I don't claim him. No, thank you. We're ready for Ken Paxton. Brandon Gill, yes, he is one of the greatest, and he is from my district. I'm proud to vote for him. All right, that is it for us. We will see you guys tomorrow.